Tyler, we are going. Nogs, thanks for coming to the podcast.
No problem, Justin. This is great. It's been a long time. You've been out a couple times with our team, but it's been a long time since back in the heyday of Halifax McDonald's and Halifax Hawks when you used to jump on the ice. And way back. I remember, that was back in the time when email first started, and I didn't know how to email your parents, and I used to have to sit there and make 25 calls just to get a couple kids on the ice.
That's what I was saying right before the podcast. I was reading over your resume, and when I think of you, first thing I go, that's the assistant coach for the St. Mary's men's hockey team. And then you look at the resume and you go all the way back, man. You've been through it all. You've been in every position: head coach, GM, director of hockey operations, assistant coach, head coach. Like, you've just been through every position when it comes to this game of hockey.
Well, one of the big things there with that I'm pretty fortunate of is just it's before my time at St. Mary's. Like when I landed at St. Mary's, Trevor was there. I had encountered Trevor at Dalhousie in my playing days, which I think fostered that relationship between us. But before that, like when I was hired at St. Mary's, Larry Utek said, "I'm going to surround myself with good people." I tricked him. In all seriousness, he said he's going to surround himself with good people, and that's one thing that I was pretty fortunate of as a kid. Like, I've got no problems giving some shout outs. I was at Allen Andrews as a kid. They run a fantastic hockey school. I was brought up there as a student, as an instructor, so you really understood how to teach and learn the game properly, right? I follow that into my minor hockey days with Jim Kelly, who used to run. He actually was the reason I ended up at the Halifax McDonald's. He was the assistant coach there, and he's the reason I ended up there. He was a minor hockey coach in Bridgewater. I was on the ice as a kid. It was just like some kids grow up and they play cops and robbers, and I grew up when I wanted to play hockey coach, so I'd go over to the rink and I just loved it. From there I ended up at the head coach of the South Shore Mustangs, where I played, so that was great to give back to that community. I ended up at St. Mary's. I left there. I ended up with the Halifax Lions. We rebranded a program that we bought from Manny Kanish, and then I ended up back at St. Mary's, and it was fabulous. It's been a good journey.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Bridgewater? My parents have a cottage up there. I've been there the past 5 years. What was it like growing up as a kid there? Because we have kids that are on the street or on the lake all the time, and they live there, and they just say they have the best time of their life. They love it. They're on the lake. There's no big city living. They just love the small community. How was it growing up in Bridgewater?
Well, we got away with a ton of stuff growing up in Bridgewater. It's a different life down there. We got to be careful here a little bit, but growing up in Bridgewater, you could be in and out of cars looking for change just to go to McDonald's late at night, but you'd go back the next day and knock on the neighbor's door and say, "Listen, I went into your car for the change." So you didn't actually get robbed, right? You literally, Bridgewater was that relaxed. You would be out playing ball hockey in front of somebody's house where you'd go up and try their front door. They may not be home, but you go try their front door, because if the front door was open, you could just use that house to use the washroom, or you could use that house to just go get a drink. People left their keys in the front door of the mailbox. I'm sure with the man running around down in Bridgewater a little loose right now, so they're probably a little bit more secure, but it was absolutely fabulous. It was so good. Me and my wife have recently purchased a cottage down in Hubbards, where we spend a lot of our time, and I'm now reflecting. It's funny you ask that question, because I'm now reflecting my childhood. I see my kids. I'm getting up 9:30, 10 o'clock to go look for the kids, and I got to go get them off the beach. Right? We give them the freedom. The one thing, if I could describe growing up in Bridgewater, it was free. It was freedom. It was free. It was like there was no worries, and that's just what it was. We played on the street. We dropped off, like the street was our babysitter. We ran down to the Bridgewater swimming pool. We spent afternoons there galore. We came home. Somebody's family fed us, right? Yeah. We ended up all at somebody's house. They fed us. Then we ended up back down at the pool. The Department of Transportation was our baseball field, right? Somebody's street was our hockey arena, and that's what it was. And it was awesome. I would go back and say, if I could grow up anywhere else again, I'd go back to Bridgewater. I'd never look and say I'd not want to grow up there.
Big rule in our family when we did get the cottage down there. It's on Pond Hook Lake. You know Pond Hook Lake?
Love Pond Hook Lake. Did a lot of camping in Pond Hook as a kid.
Beautiful lake, big lake. Put the phones away. And no one questions it. My dad's like, put the phones away, boys. Let's go have some fun. Let's go fishing. Let's go to the neighbor's house, start a fire. There's so many options to do out there without your phone, without a TV, radio's always going, Jay's in the back. But it's still just a great great place to, I feel like I had it a little bit too late because I'm 28 now. We got it 5 years ago. But as a kid, I wish it was there for me. But even today, I'm so busy with this. I'm so busy scheduling podcasts. I'm so busy with everything. Going back there is just a reset. And when I come back to the city, I almost get like a little hint of anxiety, you know, because there's cars, there's people out there. It's just...
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you say that, but you know, when you look at it, you say you're 28, it's a little late. It's never too late. It's never too late for that relaxation in life to be able to understand what else we could have. You know, I'll give you a prime example. My wife, they have a family cottage. They call it a camp, right? Anything that I think that you can sleep in under that's not a tent is a cottage, right? To me.
Fair enough.
They have a camp, and it's, when you talk about off the grid, this is off the grid. We're down off Stanley Bridge. Yeah. There's no power, right? There's plumbing by a pump, right? There's no electricity. So there's no internet. There's no anything. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. My first time there, I was thinking to myself, how close is the golf course, right? I'm going to hate this. Like, you know, I don't know how many nights that she had to come give me a tap by the fire at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm asleep at the fire, right? It's complete darkness. It's tranquility to its extreme. Yeah. And you're going, oh, you're saying, wait, I got to leave this on Sunday. Yeah. You know, we often stay till Monday if we can because it's in PEI, so you're just not looking at the 30, 40, 50-minute drive home from down to the South Shore. You got a 3-hour drive in front of you, so you say, okay, we'll tackle that in the morning, right? But it's not too late, and I recommend for you and your wife, and you put the Jay Show aside and you get ready to go and you say, hey, I'm going to just relax for a bit. And, and that's a great spot. We'll have to hook up now that you're down in Pond Hook and I know you're down there.